Hi everybody, Gary Simmons here for the Game Institute with a development update video, where I'm going to give you a sneak preview of what I've been working hard on for you guys over the last few weeks. GI Racing 2, a project that will be in your hands very shortly. Now, for those of you that followed along with the original GI Racing for Unity 4, you will no doubt remember that things broke pretty horribly when we tried to bring that into Unity 5. Unity Technologies upgraded to a new version of PhysX in version 5, which drastically changed the performance of the Wheel Collider component as well as other physics components. Now, I did promise you guys that I would try and find some time to get a Unity 5 version for you up and running, and here it is, but it's much more than just a plug and fix of the original GI Racing. So much in fact that we've decided to call this game GI Racing 2. So then, what's new? Well, of course, the physics have been completely overhauled and is now much more realistic and reliable, as too has the AI system. Now, in GI Racing 1 we often had to set up special trigger zones to help the AI make the correct decisions in particularly tricky parts of the track, whereas now the AI can pretty much be left to its own devices and navigate problem free. The toolset has also been upgraded significantly to allow you to set up all of your track materials, your skyboxes, your lighting and your post-processing effects for various different weather conditions and times of day. The Camera Manager tool now has a new section where we can set up all post-processing effects for different track conditions, and it will take care of applying those to all of our scene cameras when necessary, so that's a real time saver. Now, the graphics have also been significantly upgraded to use Unity's physically based rendering and standard metallic shader. We now have new car models and textures, and we've also significantly upgraded the old racetracks themselves. One of those angular green grass polygons replaced with an actual Unity terrain, populated with animated trees and vegetation. In fact, the terrains were actually auto-generated via a script that I quickly wrote during the upgrade, so I'll probably just leave that in the project as well, so you'll get access to that. Now, one of the significant upgrades to the racing experience from the player's perspective is multiple race camera positions. We have, for example, a bonnet cam, a chase cam, a roof cam, and now a very cool interior cam, complete with a high-res interior with animating hands and steering wheel and cockpit dials. An overhead minimap feature has also been added in this version of GI Racing, and you can see that the minimap itself is actually mapped to the interior cockpit mesh using render textures, and we've also used render textures to provide us with rear view and side mirrors mapped to the car geometry also when in the cockpit view. Now, I've also introduced a new feature that I call atmosphere zones. This allows us to use triggers to turn on light fog and sunshafts effects on just certain sections of the track. So here you can see that as we drive under the canopy of these trees, we see a kind of brown hazy fog kick in, which triggers a sunshafts effect, sometimes called God rays. Now, it looks pretty cool and it helps the level feel more organic and alive in my opinion. We also have a brand new damage model system that allows support for texture and material replacements as well as just the original geometry replacement. This allows us to use textures to crack the windscreen on impact, which of course now also needs to be supported both inside and outside of the car. It's actually pretty cool though if you're in the cockpit view and you're just driving around the track with a windscreen that looks like a huge spider's web. Now, we've implemented several stages of damage to the various sections of the car, so as your car becomes more and more damaged, you'll see its appearance changed. All of the custom inspectors of the GI Racing toolset have also been rewritten to use Unity's serialized property class, so that we have full undo support across the entire toolset now. Now, this was something that was sadly missing in the original toolset, especially when using the Track Manager tool to lay down your AI raceline nodes. I have also refactored much of the code as well, bringing the variable naming conventions in line with my more recent projects and losing many of those pesky public variables. Now, at the moment, the game code is pretty much done, but I have only brought one track into the project so far. That's the Bathurst track. So because I know many of you have been waiting to get your hands on this for a while, what I'm going to do is release the project with just this one track in it initially, And as I bring in the new tracks, we're going to upgrade the project and we'll notify you when a new version is available. Now our end goal is to bring in and upgrade all of the original tracks from GI Racing 1, plus perhaps maybe even a few new ones a little down the road. Now here is some really exciting news. For those of you that followed along with the GI Racing 1, you will no doubt remember that I had to create a separate project for students that didn't contain all of the cars and the track assets of the actual game. Now this was because we purchased the assets for a few $1,000s and we were not allowed to distribute them to you. So we made a student prototype version of the project with a rather naff homemade track and using Unity's free car asset. But hey, at least you got all the source code in a fully working project. But gone are those days, my friends, because the artist we purchased the tracks and cars off of has kindly agreed to let us distribute them all with the project to our students. So you will be getting the real project this time, everything you see on the screen, plus the additional tracks when we add them a little later on. In fact, for a small additional license fee to the artist, you will be able to use these assets commercially in your own racing games if you choose to. Now, because of the new graphics upgrades, the option screen has also needed to be upgraded, allowing us now to choose our custom settings for things like terrain detail, vegetation density and distance, as well as set up the settings for our trees. The main menu screen itself has also been overhauled and streamlined, with all functionality now much more cleanly available from a single row of icons along the bottom of the screen. Of course, we've also upgraded the trophy room with our new car models, although in this clip I haven't actually completed a race yet, so I don't have any trophies, but trust me folks, when I start racing, there's going to be a trophy of mine on every one of those pillars, I tell you. Okay, finally, in GI Racing 2, you no longer simply unlock arbitrary new cars to drive. GI Racing 2 is team-based, so between tournaments you can check back on your profile screen and see if any of the other more prestigious racing teams are offering you a contract to join them and race for them. Now, as you win races, your reputation will grow and you will get more offers to race for other teams. Now, as each team has differently configured cars, you're ultimately going to end up most likely sticking with the team whose car configuration best suits your driving style. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening, guys. I do have a bit more cleanup to do on the source code and a couple of bugs I still need to track down. But then I'm going to be putting the first version of this project out to you, and all of this lovely goodness will be in your hands. But I thought in the meantime I would just stick my head up above the sand, let you know where I've been and what I've been up to, as I know that some of you have been wondering why there haven't been any Dead Earth or Balls of Glory videos released lately. But don't worry, I'm getting right back onto that now as well too. Thanks again. Bye bye.